The War of Art by Steven Pressfield. Welcome to my channel. My name is Samuel and I want to make self-growth normal. If you want to make self-growth normal, then make sure to smash that like button. You know, for so long I was under the impression that this book is like The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Recently it's like trying to come up with a book idea.
I have an idea. Let's take one part of a book title and move it to another.
But I don't think it works like that because I've been seeing this book all over Instagram. I'm hearing people talk about writer's block and creator's block being the itch this book seems to scratch. I was a fully self-produced rapper and singer. All my music is on this channel, or maybe just a fraction of it. It doesn't include the maybe 200 features or something I did a couple years ago that never got released. I made all the beats in these videos. I stopped for too many reasons to list. Believe me when I say that creativity isn't one of them. And I'm just saying this because I know a thing or two from experience about overcoming creator's block. And if this is bragging, like, dude, come on, we all have something to brag about. Please brag in the comments below. Tell me what you're best at. Tell me what you do better than almost just about anything else. Creativity, is that what this book is really about? If that's what this book is really about, then why are the three parts called resistance, defining the enemy, combating resistance, turning pro, and beyond resistance, the higher realm? Higher realm. It almost sounds like the book takes art itself and turns it inside out to make it look like a genuine war with oneself. I once heard someone say that life's biggest battles often are fought alone, and I swear this guy makes it sound like the biggest battle anyone has to fight is with writer's block. The author talks about resistance in the beginning as if it's like the worst thing in the universe. Resistance in reality is the refusal to comply with or accept something, the attempt to prevent something by action or argument, or by smashing that like button if you haven't already for the YouTube algorithm. You are met with this resistance every day. It's self-sabotage, essentially. He says the awakening artist must be ruthless and to ignore your friends who are like,
well, just take a break. It'll give you the strength to get over that wall.
Believe me when I say that a vast majority of the time, overcoming creative block is either a matter of willpower or discipline and habit. You will learn in this book about the symptoms of resistance, procrastination. Let me smoke this bowl first. Let me eat this donut. Let me, I don't know, watch this extra episode of Grey's Anatomy. Self-dramatization. My medication is killing me. My stomach really hurts. It's just like, I don't know. This dude really tears a lot of things, a lot of social constructs kind of apart, and not ones that are exactly too political or religious in my opinion. He has personality in his writing style for sure. It really is a kick in the butt. He's like, oh, this is just rationalizing. We can do this. And resistance, believe it or not, in some ways is a good thing. People who don't experience resistance are clearly not aspiring to do anything with their lives. People who know how to handle resistance, however, the legends of the art world or whatever, like music, film, acting, computer design, painting, etc. They still experience it. Doesn't mean they don't experience it just because they can handle it. Maybe it just looks like they do. This book is different from The Art of War by Sun Tzu, exactly how I thought it would be, with the exception of the author's gritty, punchy writing style. Steven Pressfield treats art like a big war. Sun Tzu treats war like a big art. But if you synchronize with nature, if every 24 hours you actually sit down and write for X amount of time, even a few minutes, even X amount of words, and you do that for months on end, you will be surprised at how good you get, especially if you supplement that with a little bit, not too much, time studying others who you look up to. I didn't spend some time, I spent way too much in the beginning, and that is probably why I would agree with anybody who says that my rapping sounds way too much like Kendrick Lamar's. Part 2 talks about what it takes to be a professional, cultivating patience, creating order, distancing yourself, and there seems to be a breadth, I think that's the word, of perspective, harsh yet modest, that the book touches upon. Why get a book like this? Well, if you're an artist or, I can't stand this word, but entrepreneur, what is this book, like $5, $6, $5? How much time will it save you to understand more on the topic of confronting your own inner, like, self-sabotage? I'm really not trying to ever say, get this book now, not just because I'm pretty sure I'm not even allowed to, but I genuinely think that it is lazy, inconsiderate, ineffective salesmanship. I just hope for people to invest their time and money in books in general, and I hope that I am helping them make the right decision as far as what those particular books are for them. Distancing yourself, did I say distancing yourself? Not taking failure personally. I wouldn't say there's all that much practical advice in this book, but I don't think that's a bad thing because this is a breadth, again, of hard, like, concrete perspective. There's practical advice, yeah, sure, but how are you gonna apply that advice after the first couple times you try it and it doesn't work and you start feeling discouraged? Like giving up. If you want it badly enough and you don't know, you will be looking for some perspective. Would you agree? Treating yourself like a corporation, completely ignoring critics, learning to look at your work objectively. In part 3, the author says, forces that we can call our allies. Part 3 is where things get a little weird. As resistance works to keep us from becoming who we are born to be, equal and opposite powers are counterpoised against it. This part reminded me of the sex transmutation chapter of my favorite book ever, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It also reminded me of the one that includes the creative imagination versus synthetic imagination. The author calls these allies angels or muses. By the way, people are like, oh my gosh, God doesn't exist. That's cool. That's cool with me. I'm not all that religious really at all. No harm, no foul. But what about like universal intelligence or something? Is there something out there? Hey man, I'm not talking about everything else that tangibly exists. I'm not talking about birds and bees and skies and oceans and rivers and mountains and bears and lions and islands and volcanoes. But what about ideas? Where do those come from? Where do ideas come from? The brain? The mind? Okay, that makes sense. But where does the mind get them from? The mind doesn't just pull ideas out of its own butt. It's gotta come from somewhere because you can't see music, you can't hear art, you can't, I don't know, taste haircuts unless you're a trichotillomaniac. But does that mean that these ideas are not real? Just because you can only really experience them with one of your senses? Isn't there has to be like a sixth sense or something that we have to tap into just to come up with these ideas? Because where do they come from? This is like disregarding synesthesia and exceptional experiences. I'm talking about everyday creativity. Where does that come from? I think this book talks about that in a strange, well-rounded way. Again, this isn't some religious ploy. I'm just saying, like, this has to come from somewhere. If you're not a religious person, I would hear this guy out anyway, because you can't really pin this on any particular religion. But he says, whatever it is, it's smarter than we are. A lot smarter. It doesn't need us to tell it what to do. It goes to work all by itself. It seems to want to work. It seems to enjoy it. What exactly is it doing? It's organizing. This dude takes creativity from like a physical, an emotional level to a physical level, and all the way up to a spiritual level. It's really absurd, and by the end of the book you will probably understand a lot more about creativity than you thought you would even need to know. Quotes. The hard part is not writing. The hard part is sitting down to write. The years have taught me one skill: how to be miserable. I know how to shut up and keep going. Direction 1. This should be obvious who I recommend this book to. If you're an artist of some kind who is struggling with inspiration, because sometimes you never really know, it seems, what's in the way. But I feel like, according to this book, you would be very surprised. That being said, given a lot of different parts of the book, if you are an artist struggling with inspiration or ideas, and you are the type of person who does not like to be alone and spend alone time with yourself, I swear you'll dislike this book probably just as badly as you need it. Direction 2. If you like this book, I think you might like Creativity Inc. by Ed Catmull and Amy Wallace, about the story of Pixar from a developmental standpoint, overcoming the unseen forces, again, the intangible forces that get in the way of true inspiration. The War of Art by Steven Pressfield. There's a link in the description if you guys want to check it out and read the reviews. That and all the other books that I mentioned in this video if you want to check those out too. If there are any other books that you guys want me to check out and review, please let me know in the comments below. Also hit me up on Instagram, and also let me know if you checked out this book and you liked it. But hey, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, because I don't get why people watch this far into my videos and they don't subscribe. But if you have subscribed and you want to turn it up just a notch and turn on that notification bell to receive a notification every time I drop a new video, that would mean the world to me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. You can find me everywhere, and I will see you then.